All these people always lie about something. I'm sorry, I'm so fly, so what? All these people always lie about something. So I said that. Yeah. Swear the fame ain't changed shit with mine. All these people always lie about something. I'm sorry, I'm so fly, so what? All these people always lie about something.
YouTube, what's the big old deal, man? It looks like another one, man, have bitten the apple from the fallen fruit, man. We got to talk about Reverend Al Sharpton, man. It's crazy because he have admitted that he was a secret FBI informant. I think his handler name was CI-7. Now, this is something that was hidden from the media, you know what I'm saying, for a while. You know what I'm saying? He's been working allegedly with the FBI since the 70s, or maybe further than that. But it takes you back to Reverend Al Sharpton is a civil rights activist, homie. This was a man who stood next to Martin Luther King. You see what I'm saying? Now, there's been rumors that, you know, those alphabet boys was the reason Martin Luther King was assassinated. You see what I'm saying? There were informants with the Black Panther Party. You see what I'm saying? His name is tied to all of this stuff, man. Like, we always looked at these dudes and from a history perspective, like, these are the men who stood tall for our people. Just to find out that a lot of these dudes were some undercover brothers. It's crazy, man. It's crazy because if this been going back since the 60s and the 70s, what y'all think is going on them streets, bro? You think some of them gangsters that's out there on that blacktop ain't telling? Come on. Think. Y'all got to use y'all minds, homie. If Reverend Al Sharpton telling, then all y'all anyway, yeah, man. It's just crazy, bro, because, you know, you sit back and you think like every pattern in life repeats itself. You see what I'm saying? And the only way you can stop repeating the same pattern unless you change the direction. You see what I'm saying? If you move in a different direction, you won't repeat the same pattern. And sitting back, yes, Al Sharpton, man. I ain't talking about skinny Al Sharpton. I'm talking about big Al Sharpton, big brother. You know what I'm talking about? You know, the big dog. You know what I'm saying? I ain't doing no weight shaming, and I'm talking about just, you know, not the little one, the big one, the tall. You know what I'm saying? Right. Anyway, man, let's get into some of this content, though, bro. When I say this is crazy work, gang, this is extremely crazy work. Some of this I'm gonna be playing from the phone because I don't know how YouTube be handling it, but we gonna do it like this. Hold on, give me 1 second. Turn that over there. Make sure that shit ain't gonna fall. All right.
The activist has come clean about his secret past as a government informant. CBS 2's Dave Carlin tells us the activist admitted to helping the FBI bring down some of New York's most wanted.
I was not and am not a rat.
The Reverend Al Sharpton, identified as confidential informant CI-7, now admitting he wore a wire for the FBI. He helped the government go after boxing promoter Don King, music executives, and mobsters, including Vincent the Chin Gigante, who famously wore his robe and pajamas in public.
I was cooperating.
Sources say that cooperation likely started after he was nabbed in a drug sting caught on video. Helping the feds may have helped him. But Sharpton says he went to them because members of the mob wanted him dead.
They were threatening to kill me.
Sharpton is kicking off his National Action Network convention this week with headliners President Obama and Mayor de Blasio, who defended Sharpton.
I think he has done a lot of good for the city of New York and for this country.
Retired NYPD Detective Sergeant Joseph Giacalone says unmasking any confidential informant troubles him.
You never want this because we need people to help cooperate, so this is an unfortunate incident.
Sharpton said he has no regrets. He'd do it all again. Dave Carlin, CBS 2 News.
All right, so, man.
Has come clean about his secret.
So my thing is this. He said they was trying to kill me. Well, nobody told you to cut class and smoke crack, son. Now, y'all remember there were rumors that, Al Sharpton was on them drugs. Hard. That nigga was on that hard. That nigga, yeah, boy, he wasn't slanging. He was banging that shit up inside of him. So, with that being said, bro, that's crazy because y'all remember the allegations about him taking down Don King, a lot of music execs, but he allegedly got caught up in a drug sting. And they utilized him to take down the mafia. You see what I'm saying? Now, you see a lot of those, ex-detectives and prosecutors, they're saying we need people to cooperate. And what he was doing was he was a CI informant on a higher level. He wasn't no small-time gangbanger informant. He was really out here, niggas, getting the mafia caught up. I'm talking about nigga recording wiretaps and all that shit, man. So that just goes to show you, if Reverend Al Sharpton, our civil rights activist, nigga, who you thought that was fighting for us the whole time, y'all got to understand something. You got to believe now that, remember, the Alphabet Boys was looking for Martin Luther King. They wanted to take him down. All our great leaders back in those days was allegedly a threat to society. I'm saying alleged because I don't know how, the stuff go on here. And I'm not trying to, mess up nothing. But the alphabet letters, man, you see what I'm saying, was the reason why the Black Panther Party no longer exists. You know what I'm saying? There were informants in the Black Panther Party. Y'all seen the documentaries. Y'all seen the history books. Howard P. Newton, he had informants around him, right? Martin Luther King. All of these people, Reverend Al Sharpton was around them. Yeah, nigga. I'm talking about not the new skinny one. I'm talking about the, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, if y'all know who Reverend Al Sharpton is, I don't gotta say. I need extra coffee. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, let's get to the content though, man. Look like a lot of y'all young niggas don't know y'all history around this motherfucker. All right, hold on. Give me 1 second. 1 second. Let's get it. Let's go. All right, y'all. So we finna play some content. And yeah, we finna go through it. Where is it? All right, here we go. All right, give me 1 second. Let me turn up the value. So
News, I'm Symphony Thompson. With another election day under our belt, it begs the question of where Black leadership should come from and how a leader is chosen within a community. It's been quite some time since we've had a leader like Martin Luther King or Malcolm X to uplift the Black community, and since their unfortunate assassinations, there have been a few self-elected activists who have decided to take on the responsibility. However, no one has considered what happens when a self-appointed civil rights leader has a history connected to law enforcement and the FBI, as well as having allegations of turning against fellow civil rights activists. In 2014, the Smoking Gun would publish documents that detailed Reverend Al Sharpton's work as a confidential FBI informant back in the 1980s. Now, during that time, he was identified as CI-7 or Confidential Informant 7. Of course, Sharpton has always denied these allegations, never considering himself an informant. In an interview with the New York Times addressing the issue, he said, "Most of what I looked through on the Smoking Gun does not remind me of anything I was involved in. The claim is I helped get the mob, not that I was in the mob. I was never told I was an informant." Sharpton would further explain his stance in another interview with the New York Daily News. "If you're a victim of a threat, you're not an informant. You're a victim trying to protect yourself. I encourage kids all the time to work with law enforcement. You're acting like it's a scandal for me to do that." Now, according to Oxford Languages, an informant is a person who gives information to another. According to Time, the Smoking Gun, who started the initial documents, claimed that Sharpton worked as an FBI NYPD crime task force. The source says Sharpton would allegedly talk to mobsters with a bugged briefcase, and the information he gathered led to the bugging of family social clubs.
Wow, that's foul, man. That is foul. This man was bugging people with a briefcase, gang. Did y'all hear what she just said? Hold on. That's foul, bro. That is foul. Let's go.
Sharpton would further explain his stance in another interview with the New York Daily News. "If you're a victim of a threat, you're not an informant. You're a victim trying to protect yourself. I encourage kids all the time to work with law enforcement. You're acting like it's a scandal for me to do that." Now, according to Oxford Languages, an informant is a person who gives information to another. According to Time, the Smoking Gun, who started the initial documents, claimed that Sharpton worked as an FBI NYPD crime task force. The source says Sharpton would allegedly talk to mobsters with a bugged briefcase, and the information he gathered led to the bugging of family social clubs, cars, and phone lines. Now, in 1988, the New York Times reported that in addition to helping law enforcement lock up mafia crime families, Sharpton was also involved in criminal investigation of Black community groups. When he caught wind of this, Sharpton denied and claimed that anonymous political foes were trying to discredit him at a time when the civil rights movement is at a rebirth. Using Black informants to work for law enforcement is something that extends back to slavery, but its most notable reign was between 1967 to 1973 as part of the Ghetto Informant Program, or GIP. The Ghetto Informant Program was ran by the FBI in order to collect information related to riots and civil unrest. The program was born after the Watts riots, and their targets were people that were likely to have information in these ghetto areas. The informants acted as listening posts and monitored who the FBI considered as Black extremists like Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Huey Newton, and more. One of the first...
Did y'all hear that? So this man been sitting around the Black community thinking he was, legitimately, standing for our people. But the whole time, y'all got to realize, not to say that he is responsible for that, but let's be clear. Huey P. Newton was caught up because they had informants in the Black Panther Party, right? Malcolm X had informants that was reporting back to them Alphabet Boys, right? Right. Martin Luther King got caught up because they had informants in suits acting like they were activists like him that was reporting back to the Alphabet Boys, right? Who was around all of that from the 60s all the way to the 80s? The man we talking about right now, man. And this is just alleged. I don't want to accuse without proper facts or documentation, but this is what's going on over the internet. This is crazy. This informant stuff been going on since the 60s, man. Huey was caught up because he had an informant around him. And back then, nobody knew about people having bugs and wires and briefcase and all that. They thought you was just a regular businessman. Nobody thought to look and see, let me check your briefcase. That's cold game, man. Let's go.
Major projects of the GIP was to monitor and disrupt Martin Luther King's Poor People's Campaign. It's also been revealed that at least 67 informants were members of the Black Panther Party. Joining me is our very...
67 informants was members of the Black Panther Party. Come on, man. Come on, gang. Y'all can't tell me y'all don't see what's going on here. All the informants that's decided they don't want to play ball no more, yeah, they gonna drop a giant dime on your ass. Yeah, nigga. Yeah. No, nigga, you informant till you die. It ain't no nigga, I gave you 40 years and I'm done and shit. Hell no, nigga. Hey. Wait, what them niggas doing over there? Oh man, come on, man. I'm a senior citizen now, man. I don't got time for that shit, man. Hey, man, go get one of them young pups, man. Shit, man, I cost too much. You need to inform me no more. Okay, yeah. Hey, Trevor, drop that file. Let them niggas know what this nigga been doing for the last 60 years. That's crazy, bro. Look at all these people coming out as informants. 67 informants that was in a Black Panther party. Niggas, man, what everybody was telling. Everybody was telling. That's crazy. Yeah, you might as well know, nigga, somebody was a, man, these niggas been having informants and everything we had going on, man.
On You Be the Judge, analyst Joya, to discuss this conversation further. First and foremost, thank you, Joya, for joining me. This one is definitely one to talk about, and I'm happy that we have you on to discuss this one. I want to start from the top. Hearing this, what's your reaction? Have you heard this story before of Reverend Al Sharpton?
This one cuts deep. And in the words of 2 Chainz, Al Sharpton was like, I'll be fresh as hell, fast watching. But according to him, he said, he doesn't know, and he didn't know that he was given information for that reason. This is no shock to me as someone who works strategically in movement, reform, and abolition spaces, and also liberation spaces. I myself have looked at people twice after comments have been made or out the way questions have been asked. As early as 2015 to 2020, there were perceived to be informants in the movement for Black Lives. And also during the 2020 uprisings and protests, the FBI had different organizations, different movements, Operation Relentless Pursuit and Operation Legend. And there were said to be people that were infiltrating those movements to find out when protests were taking place and where they were taking place, and even if the protests had been moved. And I know in Memphis, Tennessee, and other cities, we prepared. I was a part of some of those movements, and we prepared for so-called informants to join us. So what would happen is we would have one location and then we would switch it and have another location. So there were different parts of the protests that were taking place in different areas. So sometimes you have to prepare for things to happen like that when there are informants moving around.
I was never told I was an informant with a number. So in my own mind, I was not an informant. I was cooperating with investigation. The conversations were recorded, and I would record them today.
Absolutely, and it just goes to show, that it still exists today. It's not something that's just of the past. It just looks a little bit different today. So I appreciate you giving that insight. Now, something we always talk about solution, and another thing is always like the root, the why. Why do we see this happening? So I want.
For those that's watching, if you look at this thumbnail to your left, that is Al Sharpton in the sweatsuit with the chain on, right? If y'all look to the left, that's Al Sharpton. And if you look in the front, that is the new improved Al Sharpton. So y'all understand the one on the left side in the gray and white photo, that's Al Sharpton, Reverend Al Sharpton back in the 70s. In the 70s. He didn't live so many generations, man. It's amazing. I ain't gonna lie. He was around since Martin Luther King. You know what I'm saying? And he's still here in 2025. Let's go.
I want to play a clip for you, Joya, and I want to get your thoughts on it, as well as just kind of related to what we're seeing with Al Sharpton. So let's take a look at this clip, and we'll be right back.
Yeah, man, this right here, man, this is one for the books, bro. Now you got to start thinking, is the people around you, are they informants?
You liberals who have lifted them up, Howard.
Oh, you conservatives make a mistake. You can't afford to strangle hope in people. Without hope, people become dangerous.
You liberals have let them invade our society. You give them jobs, political jobs.
Oh, you missed the point. It's only the smart ones we move up.
That makes it even worse.
Oh, we have to move them up. If we leave a smart one in the ghetto, he might develop into a leader against us. But if we raise him up into white society, we neutralize him. He feels compelled to try to act like us.
Do y'all hear this? This is how they trapped us. I want y'all to listen to this. I can't show y'all the audio, but this is deep. Look, this is how they think towards us. Let's go.
To strangle hope in people. Without hope, people become dangerous.
You liberals have let them invade our society. You give them jobs, political jobs.
Oh, you missed the point. It's only the smart ones we move up.
That makes it even worse.
Oh, we have to move them up. If we leave a smart one in the ghetto, he might develop into a leader against us. But if we raise him up into white society, we neutralize him. He feels compelled to try to act like us. He loses his identity and his racial anger. He becomes alien to his brothers. They realize he sold them out and they grow to hate him. He becomes worthless to them and safe for us. No, thank you. In fact, in his love for the creature comforts, except for its color, he's become one of us.
Now, Joya, while that clip is from a movie called Trick Baby, I think there is a lot of truth there. So one, I'd love to get your reaction to it, but again, I want to tack it on to what we're seeing here. Do you think what we're seeing with this information of Al Sharpton, do you think it was a way to neutralize him within the Black community so he doesn't reach that peak and be that person in the community to help start a movement? What are your thoughts?
Oh, well, Cynthia, that is so nuanced. It can be both and. Because when you look at informants that are known informants like William O'Neill, he was caught in criminal activity and he was approached by the FBI. If you want to get out of this, like, this is a deal. This is the deal that we're offering you. I live by the motto that representation matters only when a person representing you carries your cultural experiences, but also your agenda to move your interests forward. So it's so important when you have organizations that Al Sharpton leads, like the National Action Network and others, that they are really listening to the Black community. And I can hear my brother Tariq Nasheed and not just the Black boule. It is important that there is a grassroots effort that's going on to listen to the voices of the people. There should be a listening campaign going on to determine what are the interests of the people that are on the ground level, not just the people that have access to money and resources. I believe that people should not be collateral for discrimination and racist policies. So you should have informants to enter into groups to get information, and you take that money for yourself or take that money for a small part of what you want to build up. It should be a collective effort. We should have a collective agenda as Black people.
Do you think, because we've talked about this before and I've brought it up, and I think you have agreed as well, but I just want to get your thoughts just to make sure. Do you think that this also exposes that we need a leaderless movement? Like, we don't need to depend on one person, put all our eggs in one basket. What do you think?
Absolutely, and you mentioned it, like as early as slavery. There's this document called the Willie Lynch Letter. Some have debated like is the validity and credibility of how you were to separate the slaves by pigmentation, by the men and the women, by the children. So there has always been division that's been occurring and strategically planned out for Black communities. But to answer your question, absolutely we need a leaderless movement, because when you have a leaderless movement, there is no one to target, right? Everyone is like on their toes. So if you have people that were working in the education space, so Black children can have access to better education, and this was a coalition, right? So a coalition or a cohort, not just raising up one Black messiah. I think that's what we need to do. We need to have a sociocracy model where we're moving in circles to address various policy issues and social issues.
No, I couldn't agree with you more. And even on just, like you said, the ground level, because like I said, we just had elections, right? Getting involved in our communities more is so important, because so many times we focus.
Yeah, so, man, y'all got to understand something. Reverend Al Sharpton is not a gang member, but at the same time, and this is alleged, I'm not accusing him, I'm just going over the content whatsoever. once again, I'm not accusing him, but if he is responsible for Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Huey P. Newton, the Black Panther Party, like any of that involvement, man, that's not a community activist that's for the greater good of our people, man. That's all I'm gonna say. It's somebody who did what he had to do to save himself. Not to say that I could just condemn him for that because we're not too certain, but you know, it just, man, this is just crazy work, gang. This is, hold on.
At the age of 9, he woke up one day, and his dad and his 18-year-old half-sister, Ernestine, from his mom's first marriage, were gone. Come to find out, his dad and Ernestine were having an affair, and Ernestine ended up getting pregnant. When his dad and Ernestine finally returned to the family home, they picked
this is Al Sharpton, where he come from. Hold on, let me see.
And economic justice for Black Americans. A guy named Teddy Brown moved from Georgia to New York to join Al's organization. Sadly, in 1973, 19-year-old Teddy lost his life in a car accident. Questions surrounding his passing have persisted for years, with one family member suggesting that Teddy was shot right before he crashed his vehicle. Teddy's father, James Brown, performed a memorial concert in New York and donated the proceeds to Al's organization. The New York Times reported that Al was so entranced by James that he accidentally followed him on stage during his performance. This is a man's work. Get your ass off the stage, little boy. Go sit your ass down somewhere and enjoy this show.
All right, so yeah, we're gonna leave that alone. That's James Brown and Al Sharpton. Y'all go check out y'all history, man. Go look up Al Sharpton admitting being an FBI informant. Y'all do y'all homework. We're gonna leave it right there. I got more content on the way, so y'all stay tuned, man. It look like this is exposing season, so you know, y'all better watch out, because if it hit my table, man, we putting it out there, man. So with that being said, I'll see y'all in the next video. Let's get it. Let's go.
I know how to shoot, I know how to fight. I tell you once, I'll tell you twice. I'm real discreet, the thief in the night.